What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and welcome to this week's Ask TNH Live, where I answer your questions quickly about watches. Someone wins a free t-shirt. Woo! And this episode is brought to you by the folks over at Art of Horology, the Datejust poster in our backdrop. I love that thing. No Cyclops and all. All right, let's do it. All right, before we get into today's episode, a quick wristwatch check. I am still wearing this Cartier Santos Dumont. It's funny. I mean, I would never wear it with this t-shirt, which is our Royal Oak t-shirt, by the way, guys. Available in the Theo and Harris shop with other cool t-shirts. I would never wear the Cartier with the t-shirt. But I do like wearing dress watches with short sleeve shirts, like polos and other things. It's super old manish. It's the old rich dude at a barbecue that doesn't own a watch that isn't a dress watch. You know what I mean? And he has to wear a watch to go out of the house. Like, he doesn't own a Rolex. You know, not because he can afford it, but just because he's not a child in his mind. You know, it's just a cool aesthetic. You know, sometimes I like to do it. All right. Let's get into questions. First question, is Hermès a fashion watch? This question obviously reminds me of the Cartier conversation. Is Cartier a fashion watch? Is Hermès a fashion watch? Why is the question even asked? Well, the two for different reasons, but the common ground is this. They are not companies that are famous for only watches. In fact, their watch collections probably make up only a portion of their overall revenue, whereas Patek Philippe sells 4 cufflinks a year, but watches. See what I mean? Further, both brands are, and really more so Cartier than Hermès, more famous or well-known for design. And for different reasons. Cartier to me, is the most impressive designer maybe in the history of watches, or Cartier is the brand that is behind the most impressive designs in the history of watches, simultaneously with movements that were from other houses, that were from JLC, that were from other brands, IWC, I believe, Edda in many cases. They went quartz and generic later on in life. So it's a brand that has put all of their stock into design and not movement. Hermès is similarly perceived, not the truth. Hermès has gone so far as, I guess through their conglomerate, purchasing actual, manufacturers of movements to call their movements in-house. It's only in-house by acquisition, but nonetheless, no, Hermès is not a fashion watch. Hermès brand is a fashion and lifestyle brand, but their watches, particularly after they take their deep dive off retail prices, are real watches. They're real watches that, especially nowadays, can really compete. Let's take a minute real quick to talk about this poster. If you haven't already watched our State of the Union video, I highly recommend you do. It's all about what Theo and Harris is and where we're going. But at the end of the video, Anna surprised me for Christmas, part of my Christmas gift, with this silk papered poster from the Art of Horology. It features my date, not just any Datejust 1601, which is my favorite reference, but it's mine. It has no Cyclops. And the time represents the actual date that Theo and Harris started. Super thoughtful on Anna's behalf, and I'm so grateful to the folks over at Art of Horology for making it happen for me. They're an awesome husband and wife duo in the UK who offers posters and apparel featuring your favorite watch brands from Rolex, Omega, Patek, and even Casio. This is their passion project, which is why everything is ridiculously affordable and not lacking by any means in quality. So thank you so much, Liam and Claire, for making this happen for me. And you watch geeks out there, if you like it and would like one of your own, head down to the links in our description to the Art of Horology. Back into the live. This is a really good question. How did Rolex go from a tool watch company to a luxury watch company? A lot of people think it started off when Rolex introduced white gold to their Submariners. Not white gold cases, but rather white gold indexes, on the hours. Why? Not just because it is white gold, but because it gave the watches an entirely kind of new, more, luxurious feel. Many of the owners may not know they are white gold. It's not just like, oh, they made Rolexes, with white gold accents. It was just the beginning kind of a watch that looked like it was expensive, as opposed to previous iterations of Submariners that looked always kind of duller and weren't shiny and weren't bright. They had matte dials usually, and when they had gloss dials, they were gold. They were like these, sometimes spider crack, but they had these, a gold inlay, this very vintage, warm feel. They had cases that were beveled and sharp, which again is kind of aggressive. Once Rolex, so many people say, started integrating these white gold, indexes, the whole watch began to kind of refine and become more of a piece of jewelry than a tool watch. I say it was even before that when Rolex introduced their Submariner in yellow gold with the reference 1680/8. We've actually owned and sold one of those watches on a presidential bracelet, nonetheless. It was the first time. I think those watches date to the 70s in many instances. Sylvester Stallone owned one with a Tiffany stamp. These watches, there's no point for it to be in gold. There is no point for a Submariner to be in gold. A Submariner is the opposite of a gold watch. It made perfect sense when Rolex in the 1950s introduced the GMT in yellow gold. That made sense, right? Because the GMT is not a sports watch exclusively. The GMT was positioned as a professional's watch, a pilot's tool, but a professional man's watch that wore a suit. So that made sense in yellow gold. The Submariner made no sense in yellow gold. So that to me was Rolex's first, wait, what if we also cater to really, really rich people in the sports category? That's a crazy moment. Is he a good representation? Yeah, of course. The guy's a genius. What watch geeks don't remember is the world doesn't think like we do. We're a very small minority in the world. Our very discerning opinions represent a very small portion of the global opinion. So our negative feelings, which I don't have, toward Jean-Claude Biver are, wrong to say that they are, at scale. They're just not. People don't care. Jean-Claude Biver is not a famous person. He's famous to us in watches. He wasn't on Talking Watches. To us he was, but no one gives a fuck about that in the world. No one really. No one cares about an old Patek. Not really. We do. We love it. But we're like 30 people. You know what I mean? Like, at scale, we're 30 people in a room of 20,000. It doesn't really matter. Again, it matters that video, that Talking Watches episode with Jean-Claude Biver is, to me, one of the most beautiful videos purely in its content ever. Like, it's incredible. Jean-Claude Biver is criticized for, he didn't ruin Hublot. Hublot was always kind of weird and shitty. But Jean-Claude Biver is, famous for kind of this whole new Alec Monopoly thing and creating Hublot, which is kind of an ugly stepchild in the watch industry to many people. So what? People love it. People like the Alec Monopoly, collaboration. I mean, I don't give a shit about Alec Monopoly. I mean, I've seen better spray painters in the Bronx. But no, I don't think he's bad press. He's not bad press. Weird. Would I want to be buried with a watch on my wrist? First of all, the answer is no. I will not want to be buried with a watch on my wrist. Because why waste a good watch? Right? Yeah, my Datejust is the watch that changed my life, right? If you don't know the story of my Datejust, watch my collection review recently. The link is down below. I go right into it. The watch is almost single-handedly, it's the image responsible for my life's direction, right? That's the watch that really should be on my wrist in my, casket, in theory. But I want my son or daughter to wear that watch. I would love for that watch to be a reminder to my kids, if I'm lucky enough to have them, that, life's way too short to, not live it on your terms, very simply. But again, I don't want to be buried with a watch. That's stupid. That's the best question. Simon.French. Anna wants me to go. Congratulations, Simon.French, for winning this week's giveaway. Simon, email us at info@theoandharris.com, and we will get you your t-shirt ASAP. Everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Pick up your Royal Oak or Cyclops shirt or GMT in the Theo and Harris, gear shop. You'll love them. They're Supreme Cotton. They're amazing. Adios, guys.